Awesome. Yay. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Coffee Talk. How does it get better than this? And I have Deborah Brzycki. From Florida with me. And did we meet for the first time at that COP in Florida, or
No, I think we met at Brendan's COP that he did in Florida.
Yes, I remember with your husband.
Yes.
Yes. And I put those pearls on him and he was like, oh, and he liked it.
But he still has them.
Yeah. That's so cool. Anyway.
Get them out of his box.
Yeah. Nothing like some pearls to shock your system and put you into that receiving and yumminess.
Yes, definitely.
Too bad men don't actually play with jewelry more because.
Well, it's funny that you say that because he has actually started a lot more since, since I, got him that black pearl necklace that you had made. I then got him an antique tiger eye ring that he wears, but I think he's a little bit, it feels a little delicate, even though I took it to a jeweler to have it done. And then I just got him for his birthday in December, a ring from Tiffany's, like a signet ring. And we took it back in to get it sized. And then of course, the salesperson was like, well, wouldn't you really like to have your initials on there? And he was like, well, yes, I really would. So I think we've created a monster.
But it's making him more money, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I love that. Cool. So right before we started, you were starting to share about this telecall that you were just listening to. And it's always so interesting, the things that we go back to listen to and how you get so much more from it. So go for it.
Yeah. So I think it was mostly Gary. He did a telecall called Feelings, Truly Nothing More Than Feelings. And I don't even remember, I guess it was 2017. And I knew that I had the call, and you like accumulate all of these recordings and you don't really listen to them. So one of the things that had really come up after the 6-day event that they had just done in South Africa is this whole now concept of what they're calling presumed reality. And I feel like this telecall, the feelings one, really was like kind of like that first layer of the onion where we believe so many of our feelings, they're real and true to us and so intense and so significant, and you really aren't. And it's amazing going back into this telecall. And, of course, I had a situation come up in my own personal life with a family member that I thought I had a lot of positive judgments about. And Gary will always say
the ones that stick you the most.
Yes, they will. And they do. And so he actually told me, he's like, you need to go listen to that call again and stop making your feelings so significant. And so I did. And then, all of the stuff with the presumed realities. And I'm like, how much of every day, every single thing in our lives is really this presumed reality? And, for example, I have several friends that maybe, have not the relationship that they would like to have with their significant other. But in this reality, there's so many presumed realities of who you are if you're a wife and a mother and, a daughter and all the things that we get. Someone had said, we basically almost have like blinders on. Like we don't even see all of our presumed reality. It's just there, like running the show in the background.
Right. It's like the basis of, well, of course this is real. Like what else is there? Yeah. Yeah. And the way other people see you. It's
Yes.
funny, when you're talking about this morning, as I was taking a shower, I was remembering, the first place that I rented after I got divorced.
Mhm.
And every place that I had looked at, I had said, yeah, well, we sold our house, we're getting divorced, da, da, da. And I wouldn't get the place because I told people, and I was like, oh my God, people have all these assumptions about what it means. Like they don't want to have a divorced person, like, ew, that's a disease. So the place that I got, I remember saying, yes, it's the four of us, our two kids and us. My husband travels a lot. I take care of all the bills. He's just not here.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, isn't it just the three of you? Nope, it's four. We're four. Yep.
Yeah.
My husband travels.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
definitely.
then it was okay. And I got it.
Yeah. And just, that whole like sticking point of people just feeling that they don't have choice because of it as well. And
Mhm.
having different tools, were able to be like, oh no, well, let's see, this didn't work the other 3 times. So let me like pull out my toolbox and, use some manipulation and actually get the
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah. Because, we think that telling the truth is the right thing to do. But
Right.
sometimes people can't hear that. And what they want to hear is the lie that makes them feel better about themselves.
Definitely. Yeah.
Which, if you're honest with yourself and you tell other people what they want to hear, then life is a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But it feels so dishonest. Nope.
All
Nope,
good.
it's
Yeah.
not.
Yes. And then that kind of like almost, it just like little ping in my head, how that then on like the flip side of it is, how many times do we use reasons and justifications for choices that we make? So I had a friend ask me the question a few days ago: if you had no connection points, if you had no spouse, no kids, no family, no job, nothing, if you were truly making a decision for you on what you would want your life to be, what would that be? And, I've been sitting with that for a few days, because even though I have a degree of freedom in making choices in my life that a lot of people don't have, I still have a lot of the old stuff too. And I'm like, oh, how often do I think of everybody else before I make a decision about something? And it's a
Mhm,
lot.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've just been, today's the last day of a 30-day, 30 clearings a day of what would you like your life to be? And it's been really awesome because we keep getting to these spaces, and you think that by asking that question you get more of a defined idea of what you'd like your life to be, but it's not in words. There's this lightness of energy, and you're really in question of, gee, what would I like my life to be? Not, I want my life to be this, this, and this.
Right. Yeah, we're not doing our vision board here.
And it's interesting because every choice I'm making, I'm much more aware of the subtle shifts. Like I sent a text to somebody and I'm like, do I want to put that word in there? Ooh, no, that word's not going to create. And,
Yeah.
changing dates on things and creating things. It just, there is so much more awareness of the energy of what it will create.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to see what seeds we're all planting for our futures.
Yeah. Yeah. That has been so much up in my world as well. And it's, other people in my life, they'll call it, oh, like, look at the synchronicity of what's happening. And I'm like, I'm following the energy. Like, this is what I'm doing now when I'm choosing things. And people and opportunities or possibilities, all these different things just kind of keep popping up. And it's like, well, was that what I was asking for? And
Mhm.
it's been amazing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yesterday I was working at a boutique and having a little show of my jewelry, and um, I was already closed. It was the end of the day, and somebody was walking by and kind of looked in, and she's like, "Are you closed?" And I opened the door. I'm like, "Yeah, but you can come in if you want, whatever." And she was a rep for a beautiful clothing line that I know of their work. And we just chatted for a moment. And she was just looking to scout new stores, whatever. I gave her the card. I gave her my card. She looked at my jewelry. And I sent her a text later on last night, just following up. Nice to meet you, whatever. It was just a few minutes interaction. And she sent me back 4 stores in Colorado, in different places, Aspen and different places, with the buyer. And she's like, these would work well for you in your jewelry. This is, I
Wow.
was just like, oh my God, what a gold mine. And I've been asking, like, gee, what would it take to connect with more stores who would like to buy my work?
Yes. And what was the name of that call that they just did, to something about getting the life you never thought you could have, or something like that? Were you on that call?
Uh,
It was very recent. It was just with Gary and Allison Cox, and I forget the name of the
oh,
gentleman.
connecting to, yes. No,
Oh,
I was
that's
not.
what it was called.
I was
Yes.
not, but
A different name.
exactly.
And really, that is what I've been noticing as well, is like, I was never like that people person. I was never a connector. And of course, you tell yourself that your whole life, right? You're like, oh, I'm shy, I'm quiet, I don't like talking to people I don't know. And I'm like, huh, is that really true? Like, and so when you do start talking to people, like, I mean, how much energy did that transaction take that you had with that lady? It was just like, oh,
Yeah, it was nothing. It was cold out. She got warm for a few minutes. But see, the thing is, you don't necessarily have to talk to everybody. I mean, yes, talk to more people, but I also recognize that there's an energy, and there's an awareness of, yes, talk to this person, and maybe don't go there. Don't waste your time there, because it's not
right.
super
Yeah.
light. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But as far as like making those small connections like that and seeing what can really come out of them, I mean, that could be, possibly 4 new venues for your jewelry. That would be amazing. Yes. Yeah.
Come to me, come to me.
And
Yeah.
that's one of the other things that I've really been playing with over the last probably 6 to 9 months, is really looking at not necessarily like ways that I would think of adding an income stream, but looking at, they always say, look at what's easy for you, right?
Mhm.
And things that are easy for me are like things that other people hate to do, like test taking. Like, I can take a test and maybe not even know the material and still pass it, you know? And
You make a lot of money doing that. I've
and
seen movies with that.
oh my gosh, that's funny. And even things like, boring things like, numbers and laws and things like that. And so I had some different possibilities pop up. So one of them, my husband and I both have our realtor's license, but I literally do nothing with my realtor's license. He does, it's his whole thing. But I got the broker's license because we were looking at potentially like property management. And in this state, you need a broker's license. So I'm like, all right, I'll get my broker's license. So I did. And then we have another company that we use quite frequently for mortgages that maybe other people don't want to, like, they're not the most attractive, they're more creative and they work with people. And so the owner of that company started a program where she was talking to all the realtors that she's worked with. And she's like, if you get your mortgage loan originator license, then I can park that license in my company and actually pay you a referral fee.
Hmm,
And I was like, oh, I can take another test.
that's easy.
So yeah, it's been an interesting year of really like stepping out of my normal reality with work and really being like, what's easy for me to do? Like I can do these things and it can be like passive income, and it's a license I have to maintain, but it's not that difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my friends, she was a store owner, and both of us closed our stores around the same time last year. Maybe it was the year before now. Wow, 2 years ago. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Anyway, so it's like we've both had our own businesses for years. Like she had a retail shop for 35 years, and I think, well, I'm still in business, but she wasn't, because I'm a designer. But anyway, she's working for this other store and she still has clients, and they love her style because she's very stylish. And they're starting to ask her, can you come to my house and help me get rid of the shit in my closet that doesn't work anymore, and help me put things together so that I know how to dress.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't want to go through these ladies' closets. I'm like, hey, I'll do it with you. We can have a great time. I'll like bring my magical tools to make it easy for them to make a choice. Truth, is your body ever going to want to wear this again? Yes or no? and she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that would be fun if you did it with me. So what would it take?
Why not? I mean, they're already, if they're already asking her for her opinion on what they should be wearing, I mean, wow, that would be fun.
Yeah. And like, you don't need a license for that.
No, nope. No, but a lot of people don't have that sense of, style and taste. And a lot of people don't even know what looks good on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No matter what shape or size you are, you can find something that's showing off the goods.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, let's tie it back to the presumed realities. A lot of people presume if they don't look like A, B, or C, then they're bad, they're wrong, they'll never, all those things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Pock and pot, all that.
Absolutely. Yes.
I want to hear more about the positive judgments, because I think that's something where people don't realize they're sticking themselves.
Right.
Can you say anything more about that?
So, when obviously, especially in this reality, like negative judgments are so easy, like of ourselves, of anything. If you talk to, 5 people on the phone, most of them are going to be complaining. And then when you have these people that come into your life and you're like, oh, wow, they're so nice. I just love whatever, how they are, what they do. We have a great time together. You blind yourself to anything that doesn't fit into what your positive judgment of them is. And when that falls away and you see who they truly are, it's almost, initially it's almost like a heartbreak. Like, at first you're like, it's like that heartbreak, like how
fantasy is gone.
and then you're like, well, how the heck did I ever believe like all this stuff about them? How did I not see, all of these other things? But there's always an art of manipulation in any kind of relationship, right? Whether it's, with a sibling or, a stepchild or whoever. And if people are good at manipulation, they will give you what it is they think you want. And then the positive judgment just gets reinforced. You're like, oh, yes, they are such a kind person. They're so good. And and then It's like whack. And the blinders come off and you're like, wow. But I would say that having that experience really kind of brings you more awareness. Like it helps you in the future when you're maybe meeting somebody new or something like that, that you're not necessarily just sucked into all of the positive judgments, and you are relying on your awareness of what
Mhm.
is going on in that
Mhm.
time.
Yeah. It's kind of like when I just think about when a relationship ends and the one party is like, I don't want to be married anymore. And the other one is like, oh my God, this is coming out of the blue. It's
Yeah.
only out of the blue because they're not actually present to what's going on. And they probably had a whole lot of positive judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then as those walls fall away, they start to see all the places where
They didn't
they weren't
notice.
willing to see before. They weren't willing to see the clues. Because I mean, somewhere people have to know. I always ask people that, like, did you know that was going to happen? Even if you park your car somewhere and somebody hits it,
Right.
did you have a feeling when you
Mhm.
left your car there? Did you just have this weird sense?
Yeah.
And most of the time people do.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think the positive judgment thing, they're the
Mm.
best. We have a great relationship. Everything's fine. Even that can block out so much of what's actually going on.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And then on the other end of it, if you bring in those presumed realities of, this is how it should be, like, certain cultures or certain, even areas of this country, like divorce is just not as acceptable. You
Mhm.
know, there's, communities where perhaps people have lived there generation after generation, and it's a small community, and divorce is just like, we don't do that, and the
We
long
divorce ourselves instead.
queue, right? That is exactly what we do. And I always find it funny when people are like, they'll ask like me, like, well, how long have you been with your husband? And it's like, well, I guess about 27, 28 years. And they're always like, wow. And it's like, but we chose that over and over. It wasn't like, oh, I'm stuck with him. This is just what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. There was never any of that. It was anytime we got to kind of any kind of crossroads, it was like, all right, are we still choosing this, or is it
Mhm.
time to choose something else? And not that there weren't times, especially like before we had the tools of access, that it was like, oh my God, I can't believe you would think about leaving me, and all of that. But now it's like, is it still working for you? And it's like, we do these kind of little check-ins every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I remember when I found the tools, we were together for another 5 years,
Mhm.
um, which made it easier. And there were times when I was like, in the 10-second rule, I'm like, okay, we're divorced for 10 seconds. Like, I'm done. And it allows you to let go of all the things that you're like holding into place to
Feelings.
blame, shame, regret, guilt,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And really take a breath and be like, wow, okay, so without all of that, and we're not married anymore, what do I want to choose? And I would keep choosing to have a partner because I
Yeah.
liked that.
Yeah.
But then at a certain point, it just got to be like, okay, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Next. Yeah. But like, how much freedom can you give yourself to allow yourself to indulge in whatever choice you want? Okay, right now we're divorced. Right now, I don't ever want to speak to you again.
Well, and I think putting that 10-second increment in there really makes that easier for people to start playing with, because otherwise there's that whole feeling of like, oh, this, the finality of it. And, just like that decision-making, like if I make this decision, then that's all there is. And, no, there's like a lot of other decisions you can make. And so I think that 10-second rule is really fun, especially in relationships. Like, yeah, no, okay, I'm divorced from you right now. Go away. Yeah.
Yeah. In these 10 seconds, I don't like you.
Yep.
And then you can like them again.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, it's really building your allowance for yourself and what you are going through in the moment.
Mhm. Yeah.
Instead of numbing it out or making it diminished or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
glossing it over.
Because you're a mom, or, you got to take care of everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I think I'm going to be using the 10-second tool all day today.
Yeah, it's so great. It is so great. Wow, such freedom. Well, so cool. Do you have anything coming up as we wrap up today? Do you have anything coming up that you want to share with people?
Yeah, I actually have a little Zoom call on feelings, because that's been so much for me recently. And I can't remember the date. It's early February. It's the first week of February. And then I am doing a quick little Zoom on jealousy on Valentine's Day. So that will be fun. And I have a bars class. I try to do a bars class every month. So I have a bars class on February 22nd. And then looking down the road, I have a business done different class. And that is the weekend of St. Patrick's Day. So it's like the 17th, 18th, 19th, something like that. Yeah.
Very cool
stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots for people to choose. And let's see. I've got a clarity hour on love.
Yep.
Next week. We can pock and pod all of our points of view and presume realities on that.
Right.
And I have a reverse aging call and in person, and a facelift class, a bars class, a foundation class, all kinds of goodies.
Right.
In February.
Awesome.
So calendar is nice and full.
Good. Awesome.
How does it get better? But there's so much space still. It's the weirdest thing.
Right. I know. I've had that too. I've been working out of state like 2 weeks a month, and then I come home for 2 weeks, and usually I'll work locally 1 to 3 days. And this time it just didn't happen. And I just feel like, well, what am I going to do? Like there's like so much space to create, do things. So yeah, it's been fun.
Cool. Well, I've got to run and go do my expanding exercise in the Finding Your Sparkle group. So everybody come join me over there.
All right.
Cool. So nice chatting with you. Let's stay in touch.
Yes. Good seeing you.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Take care.